Good afternoon, guys. Good evening or good morning. It depends where you are. Welcome to our weekly live talk. And we got a new dream team in comparison with last week. We got Thomas. Welcome. How are you doing?
Hello. Yeah, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, right? Like you said in the,
Somewhere,
in the
yeah,
beginning. Yeah.
indeed. Okay. And then we got, of course, Yelan. Yelan, how are you doing?
Good. How are you? Good evening.
Nice to have you here, man. It was a long time ago already, huh?
Last year.
Yeah. So let's hope for some positive news this year. But we'll
Let's
get
hope so.
through
Yeah.
that. Yeah, and of course we can't forget about Ajax. How you
Hey
doing, man?
guys, I'm doing fine, man. Glad to be back on the channel, making a nice stream, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, we're here just to hear some opinions, entertain, and look at questions, of course, from our viewers.
Yeah,
Today we have a lot to discuss. Of course, a lot of things happened. We don't want to talk about Henderson a little bit. Also, the expectations. Also, with regards to the game that will come against Heracles because he got his work permit. We're going to talk a little bit about Berghuis and, of course, the transfers because there are a lot of rumors, a lot of talks. So, yeah, man, we have a lot to discuss. So,
that's
let's get ready, man, because Henderson is waiting. Because, yeah, I mean, as I said, he has his work permit, so he's able to train. He can play games and so on. But we already asked the panel last week what they think about Henderson. Now I want your views, guys. So, Thomas, floor is yours.
okay. So I wasn't thrilled or over the moon regarding this signing because Henderson is past his prime. He's never been like a properly Ajax player, but still, I feel like we got to the point we really need such a player. Regardless of whether he has this finesse or flair or not. He reminds me a bit of like a Poulsen signing back in the day, where we simply need a very straightforward footballer, someone with some authority that comes with his name. And yeah, I'm surprised to see how big of a marketing impact he has. Not complaining, fine. That is very nice that the shirts are selling and so on. So yeah, I really hope that his work ethics it's actually going to transfer to Ajax as well. That it's not a myth, and that he's actually willing to work properly and to set a proper example to the rest of the team. To be a leader, like a person that drives everyone else forward, like a Tadic character, we are sorely missing because I guess it's not a discussion among us that Berghuis is not such a player. He's not a leader, so in that regards, I am really happy with Henderson. I guess he might be a bit overpaid when it comes to his wages. But like I said once, it's as if you're on the desert and someone comes to you and tells you, "I'll give you a glass of water for $1 million." Like a glass of water is never worth $1 million, but you need it. Yeah, so you take it.
Mm.
Okay, so in your view, he's 100% an asset for
Yeah.
our squad. Okay, no, good to know. And what about you, Yelan?
Well, I'm a bit torn between it's a good signing and it's bad for the club in general. I do think it's a good signing for the moment. You cannot overlook a player that's played 35 matches in the Premier League right before he went to Saudi Arabia the last season. So even then, he was still like playing a lot at Liverpool. So you can't overlook that and the quality. I have heard some rumors that he was really bad in Saudi Arabia. So he may be a little bit out of form or maybe undertrained or underplayed. What do you want to say?
No, I'm just interested. So he didn't play that well in Saudi Arabia.
That's what they said
Okay.
on the channels and on the fora, but it might be just people being salty from Liverpool because they're really upset that he left. So it might also be the case. But the part that I'm torn about is that it just hinders progress from youth players. I mean, if you look at Silvano Vos, I know he's injured and he's been injured a lot. You would just basically halting his progression. So in that sense, like for the long term, I don't think it's a good signing, but we need something now. So yeah, I don't know how I feel about it. But in general, those are my two feelings about it.
Okay, do you agree with Jelan Ajax?
I'm afraid to disagree with Jalan, so I'm not doing that. No, just
Obviously,
kidding. Just
obviously
kidding.
not.
Just kidding. No, I think it's. I believe it can be a great signing for us. You have to take into consideration that Henderson is a player that has zero rest value or almost nothing. Because of his age and the duration of his contract of 2.5 years, you can maybe think it will be his last, job as a footballer. So, but the things I've heard, the things I've seen of him during his Liverpool spell, and especially the last 8 years as a captain, is something that we desperately need in this Ajax. Don't forget, we lost a lot of players the last few years after Ten Hag departed. And that last year, almost all the players with a true Ajax identity, like a Tadic, that has been a great captain for us. Blind the year before, Timber leaving, and a few more players like an Alvarez and a Kudus that were bought, but also played in Ajax for a few years, so became like strongholders for the team. They all left. Then that foreign legion was bought by Mislintat, and not a lot of DNA was left that could show the new players what the philosophy would be, how they should be handling themselves in the club. And a player like Henderson has that maturity. This is something that we're lacking at the moment, especially in that midfield. I think we can benefit a lot from his character alone. I cannot judge yet what he will bring footballing wise, but especially on and off the pitch, I think it will be a huge boost. So I think spending that kind of money, I'm not sure yet how much it is, but we can, I think, agree, all the four of us, that it will be the top earner in
7.5
the group.
for the transfer and
Yeah,
4.5 million for the salary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So, if he brings what we think he can bring and help the boost the team morale and help to instill a certain character within the squad, a certain, DNA again, this is something that is worth the money. So hopefully he can be one of those generals in the team. And if he can bring that, I think it's money well spent.
Well, you're paying basically 16 million for 2 years.
Yeah, 2.5. But yeah, we paid 110 million for players that are already or leaving the team or not even playing in the team.
I think we paid 18 for Mika Tatsu. So
yeah, exactly, and he's been loaned out already. So maybe
I don't disagree.
Maybe in a different situation, in a different time, I would say 60 million. Wow, that's out of this world. But the way the team is built at the moment, and what we bought last seasons actually, but the last was of course the worst. It's not. I'm not really surprised for 16 million. It's not that big of a deal, I think, if he brings what he can bring.
And of course, there are rumors from pundits in the Netherlands saying that he even earns a lot more, like 8 million, instead of the 4.5 million gross. So it's still unclear how much he earns, but we already know he will be the top earner within the first team. So okay.
Yeah, if I may add one thing, because Jelan was torn apart between, he can Henderson can improve us, but he's like, how I got you is that he will take the spot from some youngsters and take the playing minutes. Well, I would look at it a little bit differently, because if you have, for example, Vos playing next to Taylor, it's not a normal environment. I would rather have Vos develop playing first 10 minutes with Henderson next to him. Like he could benefit from a better player and get used to a proper level we all expect him to reach at one point. And Taylor is a scapegoat in this scenario. Taylor in bad form. He's been improving lately, but you know what I mean, right? His presence on the pitch can, it takes one spot from the youngsters, but it also lifts everyone around him, hopefully, right? Because, I don't know, tactically, I assume he's going to be better right away than Taylor, for example, because that's the field Kenneth's been lacking a lot.
But not only that, Thomas, it's also off the pitch, like a Tadic. Tadic would not let certain players get away with certain behavior and would set an example of what to do. Also, how to live for football, how to eat properly, how to rest properly, but also how to give your all besides the matches, in training and in the weight room. So this is something that I've heard and read about Henderson also, that he he lives for football. He does everything like a professional. And if you have so many players coming in that maybe can be overvalued for us in the future because they are not ready to deliver yet. A lot of players bought last season. He can maybe instill a certain professionalism outside also of the pitch, and this is something that we didn't have anymore in our team. We are now depending on Berghuis and on a Berghuis as veterans in the team. So I do not know. I cannot judge for sure, but they do not seem, especially our captain, the type of players that rally the troops outside of the pitch, or maybe do extra lifting or extra training on the pitch. That is something that I did see and hear about with Tadic, also during the years and in interviews and players talking about him as a captain. So I think Henderson will do that and will set an example. This is not something to be overlooked because it's very important in this new group.
100%.
We'll come to that later. Spoiler alert.
I actually saw some pictures today of players working out in the gym.
Yeah.
Is that probably the Henderson effect? Yeah. So
no, it's a reaction to the social media speculation, and they arrange a special photo shoot in the
Photoshop.
Yeah, most likely to track some.
Yeah, but at least they're listening. Right?
Yeah, of course. But taking into account that Henderson, okay, he's training, he's doing well. We all know game against Heracles will be on AstroTurf, and big players like Tadic, Blind, and you name it, Klaassen, always hated playing AstroTurf because they feel they felt pain after the game or during the game. Berghuis said it as well. Do you think it's wise if he would play against Heracles, or do you expect him just to play because we need him and we need those points, so it's results above his condition? Yelan, what's your view on that?
I think we should just wait one more game. He wouldn't be the first player to get injured, like a knee injury or something on AstroTurf. I think I was thinking of the name earlier and I couldn't. There was one player who made his debut on AstroTurf and got a serious knee injury. I have to look it up. But
okay,
we can wait one more game and we should be able to.
But bear in mind that if I'm correct with the data in my head, it's PSV the next game, right? So
no,
it's
no, I don't know.
Oh, it's still one between the this weekend and PSV one.
Yeah, PSV is next week, and Heracles.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
Oh, sorry, man. Then I misinterpreted. Sorry.
Yeah, so which means because there's an advantage and a disadvantage. If you play Henderson now, you could state, okay, he has game fitness, match fitness. He knows the players. He knows the way the team plays during a game. So he can use that to play against PSV. But on the other hand, if you don't play him against Heracles and you throw him in front of the Lions against PSV, although it's a home game, what would you prefer, Thomas?
That's what you meant, Ajax, right? Next match.
Yeah. Sorry, then I was just say it correctly, right?
You're right.
You're
right.
It's PSV, right?
You're right.
Yeah, sorry, I was confused. I thought maybe you said there's one more match in between, but in my head it was this weekend or PSV.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay. When it comes to my opinion on that, because I believe I was asked, so
yes, sorry.
So I would just trust our medical staff. I don't see any reason why not to play him if our medical staff says that he's ready. Training is a risk. Remember World Cup 2002 and Canizares didn't go there because he dropped a bottle of perfume on his foot. So yeah, you can always get injured. And if he is fully match fit, I don't see why he wouldn't play. We're going to play AstroTurf later on as well, and he's not a glass of water. He's a football player. He should play if he's available, and if the manager sees him as a good option for that particular game. And yeah, there's not much philosophy, no rocket science for me here.
Okay.
It's your go-to thing, right? If you want to set examples, you go to the glass of water, right?
it's good for you.
Yeah. But Ajax, you would play Henderson this Saturday?
it's easy to say, like Thomas said, let's just rely on the medical team. Yeah, we have to give our opinion. If he is fit enough, if there's a chance to play him, just play him. You're not going to buy this player just to let him sit on the bench. So either decide for him to play 45 minutes and bring him in the second half, or just play him up front, from the get-go, and just see how he does, and maybe substitute him if he cannot play the full 90. So I would opt for the latter one. So just start with him. But it all depends on his match fitness. I do not know how fit he is at the moment. And I believe he was 3 weeks off, right, before we signed him. So he didn't have regular matches the weeks prior to his, that he got signed by us. So that's all things that we have to take into consideration, and it's difficult to judge because we're not part of the Ajax squad and the team. So if it's a possibility, just play him.
Yeah.
Although it's AstroTurf, you just have to cope with it.
Fair enough. So let's see what the viewers have to say about Henderson before we go to our next topic. I see Sivan stating, I was against the signing of Henderson at the beginning, but the lack of leadership in the squad shows that he's much welcome. Basically, what you all guys mentioned. I think I saw a question as well with regards to the Henderson part, which from Christian. Thank you for the question. Gentlemen, even though we discussed last week about the possible captaincy for Henderson, I would like to know your opinion if you would have given Henderson the captain's armband. So just to give a highlight, last week during the press conference, Van Schip, the coach, stated that Berghuis will remain the captain, and it will not go to Henderson. But go ahead, man. Jellan, what do you think of this?
Well, too early to tell for me. Let's just wait and see what he brings to the table, and if he's a good in-game leader, by all means. I don't think Berghuis is a born leader, so if someone is able to fulfill that role better, then I'm assuming that that it will probably go to Henderson. But for me now it's too early to tell. Just let him get his feet wet. Is that how you say it? And then is that the expression?
Yeah, it's right.
Yeah.
And then let's just go from there, and just not do this right away, because that always seems like a panic move. So let's just have one normal game where he can transition into the play style, and then maybe go from there.
So basically, focus on football first, and then the rest.
Yes.
Then we got Meleno. Henderson off the field is going to teach Taylor math, Hato English. He's past his prime. Summer free transfer to mid-level Premier team is incoming. So we got somebody who's not really fond of Henderson. Let's hope he's wrong, but yeah, I mean, it's everybody's opinion, as we said.
Well, you cannot rule out there's a risk. You know how I'm not saying everyone, but you know how many English people treat the Dutch league like it's a farmers league, and there's no reason to bother. I think Henderson is a proper professional, but there is a little risk that he won't treat it seriously and might get bored after half a season. You can't rule that out. I hope it's not the case, but yeah. Maybe that can happen, but let's hope not.
Yeah, but guys, let's be honest. The level of the Eredivisie is nothing compared to the level of the Premier League. So
yeah, and that's why he might not be motivated, right?
No, that I know. No, I don't believe that. If you have a certain philosophy of the way you play and you handle football life, as a player, it won't change. You're such a professional your whole career. I cannot believe that you will bank it like the last 3 years of your career and just start doing everything else. It's a thing of habit, You create habits, you create certain things that you do during your life as a professional footballer. And I'm not seeing him doing anything else. Maybe he can even be motivated now. I want to be on the European Championship. It's a new challenge for me. Let's do my utmost and let's prove everybody wrong in England with the opinion they have about me. And don't forget, maybe he was declining that last season in England, but he was still had a main role in the Liverpool squad. And even Klopp didn't want to depart with him, but he couldn't grant him given time in advance, So he just went for another challenge, and it didn't suit him well.
I thought he
Well,
wanted to leave Saudi Arabia because of the level of play that is there. So he still has some fight in him, and he wants to play at least some competitive football. Maybe
but if we have to believe Cristiano Ronaldo, the Saudi Arabia league is better than the French league. So
but he has 30 million reasons a week to say that. So
I think I hope you're right, Ajax. It might be wishful thinking, though. Well, let's see.
I mean,
for me, it's just something not to forget and not to ignore. But I think we'll be fine.
Okay, now let's close this the topic then for now, and hopefully we can only come up with some positive news after his first match. Let's go to the Berghuis interview, because that's a topic that I really want to discuss. It was related to the interview which took place after the game against RKC. And he was asked, among others, whether he feels the responsibility with Henderson and Berghuis to make that change in mentality within the squad. And let me quote what he basically said. Everyone looks at me and Berghuis a lot, and I think wrongly. If you have two of the best players in the Eredivisie, you should cherish them rather than the other way around. We are both attackers and want to be creative and create chances. We cannot be concerned with what is happening behind us. So with Henderson, someone has been added to the midfield, and that line and the line at the back can be the connecting piece of the puzzle.
Okay,
guys.
First question, Sarbi, can you please clarify which two players he's talking about that are amongst the best of the Eredivisie? Which two is he mentioning there? Because
who do you think?
I don't know, man. I've been thinking.
And he said his name first.
I read that article, so
no, it's no, literally he and Berghuis.
Wow. Okay.
They consider themselves. So we got new second part. At first we had Vandal, who considers himself with Berghuis the best left side, and now we got Berghuis, who considers himself and Berghuis as one of the best players within the Eredivisie.
And bear in mind, this guy was the Feyenoord captain for a period of time, so he knows what it is to be a captain. So
you're taking out the most important part, that he literally said, this wasn't our fault. The bad results weren't our fault.
Yeah,
he literally said that.
Yeah, I mean, come on, give me. When you hear that statement, that interview, that answer, Yelan, what was your first thought?
The first part of the interview I thought was okay, because he was like really explaining how they're improving and how they're doing better. But then it got from bad to worse. Like, I don't know if he even thought about what he was going to say, but I feel like he turned a corner and couldn't go back, because what I think about is that he's like, he's delusional, because his level of play was also, far below par. So he's definitely not in the top 2 players of the Eredivisie, let alone the top 10, or even
let alone the top 2 in Ajax squad at the moment.
Yes, so he's delusional, and B, he's like absolving himself of responsibility for team performance. Like, it's a team performance.
Yeah.
And the amount of times that he didn't follow his man back is insane this year compared to last year's. I don't know what happened, like he lost motivation or whatever. It's insane.
No. He just said we can't track back all the time, man.
Yeah. No, literally, he said that. He said he doesn't know when to close those gaps. He doesn't know, so it's confusing for him. Apparently.
But he's the best player in the Eredivisie, and he doesn't know that.
Yeah, one of the best. According to him, he's one of the best players indeed. And
so if that's the case, last thing, and then I'll give it to someone. If that's the case, that he's the best player in the Eredivisie, but he doesn't know how to track back and how to see space or close down space, at least he should be banging in 15 goals and 15 assists. Like, at least do your part on that part of the pitch.
He's already on 2 now, so that's
He still got many.
Okay, just give it to someone else, because I can talk about this all evening, so we don't have time.
Okay, I firmly believe he was high on painkillers because of his broken hand, and that's the only reasonable explanation here. And he said that they should be treated specially, and so on and so on. I guess he wanted our opposition to hear that and not to press him and Bergwijn and let them run into the opposition box, because I don't know. Well, I find it mind-boggling that we are even talking about this. This is so ridiculous, pathetic almost. A
Because
little.
it's ridiculous, we're discussing this because it's not normal. It's not normal.
Yeah,
Right?
I don't know. I blame the painkillers because his hand must have been hurting badly, and this is the reason behind all this. But in all seriousness, I don't know. I would expect more because I can't imagine the rest of the squad, especially the younger players, to react positively, to treat this as a motivation to get better. It's like more of a, I'm not in the dressing room, but I would feel
Yeah.
like this is this guy with high salary looking down on us and asking us to do all the work, whereas he not only does not track back, but also gives away the ball way too often. So yeah, that's ridiculous. Just plain ridiculous.
For me, this is an example of just not being a professional.
Yeah.
It doesn't help the team to state these kind of things. It's just like creating for yourself a carte blanche. No, it's not me to blame. And I think this is also the power vacuum that's happening in the team. A lot of the big players left. Although Klaas wasn't playing, he was a child of the club with the Ajax identity. Blind left last season. Tadic left as a captain. So with all those important players leaving the club, you have certain players that should grab the responsibility and be a leader for the team. But also, if there's nobody to put other players in check, you can have certain behavior that players start getting away with. And this is some behavior that is not a professional, not like you have to behave as a professional footballer. He
Or an
should
Ajax
just be,
coach.
or exactly, he should
Sorry.
just be performing on the pitch and let him speak there, But he is talking too much outside of the pitch, and this is something that baffles me because it doesn't help the team. It doesn't help like the cohesion
not at
between
all.
the players, and it doesn't help with the feeling that the team will have within the locker room if you hear those things outside of the locker room in the media. So just be a team player and just shut up and perform on the pitch. That is what my opinion is about it, but doesn't take away that a Berghuis that is focused, a Berghuis that is being a professional, can be a very great asset and a great player for the team. But he should start focusing on that part of the game and not giving those interviews that just doesn't help, man. Doesn't help.
Yeah, Berghuis is, for me, he's not cut to be so high right now in the leadership hierarchy, right? When he came in, he was pretty low there, right? Because we had all the great players, all the Tadic, all the Blinds and so on. So players with more experience. And when Berghuis was less important, let's say, with his voice in the dressing room, he was not a problem ever, right? We weren't having such discussions because we've had some worse games and some worse periods back when we used to be actual Ajax, right? And right now, yeah.
But
right now he's too high. He's not a leader, not a proper leader, not an example, right? And if he is so high up in the hierarchy, yeah, this is what happens. And this is one more argument for to cherish the transfer of Henderson, I feel like, right? Because it lessens a little bit important of Berghuis, I hope.
Ajax, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, but that's what I meant with, the shift of power within the club. This is something that you can blame Mislintat on and others that were responsible for getting players in and players leaving. If within your club, the players with the most Ajax identity, DNA, and players that are important in the team all leave, then you have certain players that are at a certain age that people look towards. Hey, those are probably the new leaders. But are they leaders the way they behave? Can they do that? Is that in their personality? But there aren't any others. So Berghuis and Bergwijn immediately became those players.
They shouldn't have.
This isn't maybe the best fit. And this is the problem with getting 12 players in for a certain amount of money and not keeping the balance within a team. It's not a surprise that within 94, 95, when Rijkaard came back, he brought balance. He molded that team together, young players with veteran players clicking together, and he had that authority. We do not have any of those figures
No.
left in the team.
Different quality of player.
That is
Yeah.
the problem, and this is something that you have to blame the board for, Mislintat for, because it was way too easy to think I just buy fairly unknown players with probably a lot of talent and just hope it all clicks together. It doesn't work that way.
No, you're spot on this. Especially, I mean, an example of last week when Berghuis was interviewed about the Pasveer article about players not training anymore in the gym, and the answer of Berghuis that baffled me. Like, he didn't care. It's like it's everybody's choice. Everybody can train at home. It's like that's not a captain. That's not my captain. If I'm hearing like that, or do you see that differently, Ajax, in this case?
No, it's not my captain too. It's not my captain too. But that's the problem. Do you have certain? Because in my opinion, there are less heavier. There are two leaders within the team that show it on the pitch. For me, the number one is the 17-year-old Hato.
Yeah,
He's proving it on the pitch that he deserves to be there, and he's a leader by example. And he's one of the youngest in the squad. And for me, especially the last weeks, it's Brobbey.
Yeah,
He's carrying the team, scoring goals, working hard, working his ass off. That is something that I sometimes miss with Bergwijn and Berghuis. They're just drowning and doing the same thing over and over again. You know, also with Berghuis, he talks a lot, but what are his stats this season? How many times did we see crosses going too far? Like way high, almost field goals, you know, scoring only twice up until now. So his composure in front of the goal and finishing off those chances that he obviously had this half year wasn't that great. So just be a little bit more humble and perform first.
But can I jump in on what you're saying about the leaders in the team of Hato and Brobbey? I think they lead on the pitch by letting their feet speak for them. Yeah. But they're not leader types. For like a good in-game leader, you need a little bit more of a charismatic, extroverted person, and Brobbey and Hato are not those type of guys. So but you shouldn't be giving them that role.
At least,
But in all fairness, you have two types of things that character a leader. You have lead by example, and you have lead by coaching and keeping balance. And for me, both Bergwijn and Berghuis don't do both of those things.
At this moment,
and maybe Hato isn't at the age yet, or a Brobbey, because he's on top of the field as a striker, so he's far away often, you know, from other players. But they lead by example, though. And this is something that is also important, and at least that's half of the part. And I can see Hato transitioning into maybe also a leader being more vocal. But don't forget, as a 17-year-old, it's pretty difficult to be that vocal yet, you know?
Yeah, he can develop into the
Ligt is not. Sorry.
No, he's actually quite vocal.
If you compare it to De Ligt, is not. He was much more vocal at that age. So it's unfair to compare two players, but I'm just, for this argument, comparing the two.
Yeah, but you know, the situation we're in is you know, deep sewers, to be fair. That's one, and also he can still develop in that regard. It's not that.
But speaking of now.
Yeah. Here and now, I agree, and also, Hato's been a little bit of a dip in form lately. But regardless, say what back to Berghuis, and to finish it off, I guess. Say what you will about Kenneth Perez, but he made a comment on the Berghuis interview, and saying that you know, you have to watch the game with your eyes and so on, but also there are numbers, and numbers show certain stuff, and Berghuis is none of the statistics, like either assists, successful crosses, crucial passes, and so on. In none of them, he's in top 5. So what are we talking about, even, right?
About Berghuis.
Yeah. So
I think he was outside of the top 50 in most important stats of the
So basically, it was trash what he said in the interview. Let's close this topic and let's go on to the transfers, man. I mean, a lot of happened in discussions and rumors and so on. I mean, we got Forbs, who is apparently in advanced talks for a loan or even a permanent transfer to Premier League. We're going to talk about Salahdin, potential loan to Rangers or Torino. Mazraoui, Also, a very promising discussion that will be. And yeah, of course, Akpom, today's news as well. There's a bit came in from Lille. So when I look at this, it seems like Ajax is trying to undo almost everything what Mislintat has done or built. For me,
Careful on that, we don't know.
No,
Bids
but-
came in and they consider it, but did they
looks like
actually
it.
actively approach other teams to maybe offload players? That's something we don't know.
no, but if you're willing to, you're not saying they're not for sale, then it's basically stating that they're open for a transfer. And
They're considering it. Yeah, they're
they're
considering.
considering, which makes it like it's not like, okay, we just bought them, so we're gonna give them a chance. No, it's more like try to see if we can lose them and try to have the loss minimized as much as possible. But what worries me most, and I want to know that from you guys as well, is we hear only about outgoing transfers, but no incoming transfers, except that young striker from Dortmund. And that worries me because the plan was to reinforce, and now we're basically giving away our players and not having any players coming in. So let's talk first about Forbs. Your thought on this, Yelan?
Yeah, just to touch quickly upon what you just said, like they have 6 months to train with these guys. So if they're now open to transfers, then they might be lacking some quality. So if that's the case, like you better offload them earlier and minimize the risks than having them not play for another 6 months and have another drop in value. But to answer your question about Forbs, I feel like he showed some potential early on, but for some reason he had a dip in form right after, and he hasn't regained his form since. But to be fair, I think it's a bit early to discard him. But I haven't seen enough to discredit him or to say he's going to be a top player. So I think it's too early to sell him again. So I would loan him out.
You would loan him out. What about you,
Yep.
Ajax?
Yeah, I would rather keep him, and until we have like enough backup to play on those positions, because in my opinion we do not have sufficient backup. So either if you loan him, you have to have some replacement also, and I'm not for spending too much money in the winter break, like being not responsible. You paid a lot of money for this guy, so if you loan him out now, it's also devaluating what he's worth after, or he must play a stellar second season. But how often does that happen with loan outs? So not too fond of already getting rid of him after 6 months.
Yeah, it's quite crazy when you look at it. And Thomas, your view, you agree with Ajax? Or are you more like-
Well, my view is here. There's absolutely no point in loaning him out because we would have to bring in someone else because we miss wingers. We don't have enough of them. And if you loan him out, you would have to get someone in, and we don't have enough money, I guess, to spend to get a proper player. So we make our team weaker, and we don't earn any money. So either keep him or either sell him right away, if you ask me, because there's absolutely no point in loaning him out. I was very impressed with him at the very beginning, like Jan and like all of us, I guess. Right now, he seems like a headless chicken, I guess. Yeah, he runs very quickly, but
Yeah.
there's very
He is
little.
fast in a straight line.
Yeah, very little thought behind this. But he's obviously very like naturally gifted, right? He's very quick, and that's not something he's going to lose. Technically, his first touch can be better, but when it comes to dribbling, yeah, I guess he's quite capable. As a backup option right now, or someone who should be threatening Berghuis' place, I would keep him 100%. Because I don't believe we could get like reasonable money for him right now. So, anyways,
How much did he cost?
14
16
or 18.
16 or something? 16,
14, 14 I
Oh,
believe.
14.
I just looked it up today. Yeah. So
Okay.
somewhere around 14. But let me can I ask a follow-up question to Thomas?
ahead, of course.
Yeah.
In the current Ajax formation, where you have to be good on the ball and have to be good with passing and stuff like that. Do you think he's going to be capable of playing that role, or is he more just like a counter-attack oriented winger where you just like leave him on the break, on the fast break?
Well, right now, most definitely the latter, right?
Yeah.
He's not a player for the whole possession game. He doesn't seem like one for now, at least. At the very beginning, he seemed like he could do the trick in that regards, but right now, I don't know. Well, the very beginnings were the Stein times were like an error in the matrix, so I wouldn't take it seriously. But yeah, he obviously seems like born to be leading counters, right?
Yeah,
But I guess he's still young. He can still develop to be a little bit of a different type of player still. But if he wants to, that's up to see up to him, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. The only thing that I really miss from him is his physiques, of course. We saw that as well with Chico. Great players, technically gifted. They have that pace, but they lack that physique, that the strength. And I don't know, he has to have that extra to be really of an added value for our squad. But if I look at it right now, talking as a host right now, if I really look at it right now, we don't have any wingers at all. I mean, you got Bonel.
We have a few, but they're injured. For example, Gots is somebody that I hold in high regard. So I think he can be that for us, but he's injured. So with the few flavors we have, he is one of them. So just hold on to him instead of spend. Or you have to get a substitution into the squad that is of a certain standard immediately, that can deliver immediately.
Yeah, that's difficult.
I do not see that happening at this stage of the transfer window. It's usually panic buys at the end of the window, and I'm not too fond of that. But the biggest worry for me with Forbs, I do not find him that technically gifted, if I'm being honest. He's more of a speed merchant. The way my eye test is, he's more of a speed merchant, and sometimes he has the room to counter, but his ball control isn't the best. So sometimes he fumbles a bit, or he doesn't have the control to really dribble fast with the ball, and then he just makes a different or a wrong decision. So this is just some in that regard, he has to improve in that area for him to be an Ajax player, because only speed is not enough for me.
Okay, but then to answer this short question, is he worth that 14 million, as Jelan just mentioned? If you look at it right now, is he worth that amount?
No, he isn't. Yeah. But the way the market was and the way we handled business last half year, we spent it on him. So I'd rather have him stay at the squad and just see how it develops the next 6 months, and also just let him play some minutes, if possible, also in young Ajax sometimes. You can see how he develops there, and still take him, if it's possible, with you, on the bench for a few minutes. And instead of loaning him out and cannot utilize him at all. What if Berghuis got injured, or another player isn't available anymore? Then you now think, okay, we loan him out, and then at that certain point in the season, you maybe have to rely on him. And we don't have the opportunity. So I would be careful with that. With that situation.
Yeah. But I said loaning him out to giving him more experience. I'm either for any way that he gets minutes, because he needs to get minutes to get better.
I agree with you
on a high level.
But young Ajax isn't an option for you in that.
I think the level is too low for him to really develop his qualities in terms of being a future Ajax player. That's my only concern. The Keukenkampioen divisie is not good enough to develop your quality.
Still better than nothing, right?
So
maybe I'm being disrespectful. I'm not trying to be.
No. I mean, it's your.
If you can go to Premier League or Keukenkampioen.
Yeah, okay, but so you would loan him out, but is that with the thought behind it that there should be somebody else that comes in? Because with this current group, we do not have sufficient backup at the moment.
No, true. Yeah.
You're for loaning him out, but there has to be another signing then, right? Or
I think so, but I don't know until when Gots is injured.
He's
When he's
long-term
supposed to be
injured,
back.
I believe
he's
so.
He's what?
I think he's still got a few months.
Okay.
And what about Van Axel Dongen? Is he already fit again?
He's so
No.
injury prone.
Yeah.
You can't rely on him. You can't rely on him.
They were looking
Both
at
of them,
Babadi,
even
right?
if they were available from tomorrow, they would still have to gain match fitness. You don't know how
Okay.
their form would be, and so on
Oh,
and
that's
so on.
yeah.
And
We're talking about it later. Yeah.
especially provided that Forbs is both-footed, I guess you could say, and can cover both wings. We can discuss where he's better, but he can, right? So yeah, he's useful for us, and I would rather keep him because, like I said, loaning him out, I see no point in, and I don't believe you could get like reasonable money from him.
Let's be honest, if you have to alter your style in certain matches, he's one of the few with extreme speed within the squad. So if you have to rely on maybe a counter attack or get a lot of space in a certain area of the team,
Look at that last goal.
Yeah, he can be of a value that not many others within the Ajax squad have. So that's a quality he does have compared to other players.
Yeah.
And Banel is not good enough.
I'm being honest.
Not convinced yet.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
For me, but I mean, it does show how confident Ajax is in Forbs because they are considering a permanent move as well. From what I've read, like a loan, but a permanent move is also on the table, which shows not a lot of confidence.
It all depends on the situation, Sarbi. If you can get a certain amount that you break even, or maybe even do not lose a lot, or even win a bit of money, and you have a sufficient backup plan ready.
But that's the point.
That's the point that we do not know, because only selling him without having a backup coming in is just stupid for me.
Unacceptable.
So, but if they do business, they offload him, and maybe for the same amount, or they actually gain a bit, and they can sign a player that fits our team better, or can give our team a boost, like hopefully Henderson will do, then it's good business, you know.
Yeah. I mean, Sivan is also agreeing with you. He can still improve, and he can become a big player for us in the future. But there are also others who think it's best for him to leave permanent or on a loan move, like Anthony Vandenberg is mentioning. So I see a lot of people are agreeing, but also
Two camps.
Sorry,
two different camps.
He's divisive for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen enough of Forbes, and on the other hand, we still need a winger because we don't have any, and there's no information available that we will get any replacement. So let's just wait and see. But
he has to convince us about him, right? It's a lot about his performances as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned already. It's like a headless chicken. Always looks down and then doesn't know what to do. Loses the ball. The way he handles the ball is sometimes quite weak. So let's hope for some improvement. And for me, let's just give it a chance. And he doesn't have to leave.
And shocking how unpolished he is coming from the City Academy, right? That's mind-boggling.
Yeah. And he came by advice from Kelvin de Lange, who came from City. So that's interesting as well, as he's now responsible for the technical side of Ajax for the moment. But okay, let's wait and see. Let's go to Saladin, because there are rumors about the potential loan move to Rangers or Torino, and maybe even other clubs as well. When you look at his style of play and the way he plays, do you think he would suit more in Scotland or in Italy, Yalan?
Good question. Like, from what I've seen at his matches at Ajax, I wasn't really impressed. So, if I have to choose between the two, I would think Italy, because Scotland is a lot more physical, and I believe that he lacks a little bit on the physical side. But then again, I haven't seen too much of him. I've realistically seen maybe 6 matches. So I think it's good to have him loaned out, and I'm really doubtful that he will be developing into a player that will be a first-team Ajax player. Just to touch up on that really quickly. But if I would think so, I think the fullbacks are more attacking in Italy. That will suit him better. Just to answer your question.
Okay, but before I go to Ajax on the same question, do you consider him more a midfielder or a left back? Because he can play both positions, right?
I think it's more of a maybe like a free role to help out in defense and also in midfield. So he shouldn't be getting into duels that much. So I'm a bit torn in between. I think he's technical enough to be a fullback who's going on with the attack, but I think he lacks the physical aspect of the central midfield position. So
Okay.
I think he's a bit in between, actually.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it's like it is possible. as
Maybe
well.
maybe the role that Blind has at Girona.
Okay, as a center back and then trying to
Yeah,
cut
like
in midfield.
helping the attack out and maybe plugging some gaps in the setup. And
Yeah.
I don't know, his passing needs to improve a lot to be in that role. But I think he's if I have to choose, left back.
Okay, and Ajax, do you think that he deserved more minutes with Ajax, or it's
I
just
think
like
so. I must be honest, I saw him play at Twente quite sometimes last season, and I was impressed by the level of his play. But he was in a different role than
Yeah.
at Ajax. He was more of a pivot in front of the defense, and maybe even more as a 8 player. I think, if I'm not wrong, helping the build-up play, passing, more technical part of the of style of play. And at this point at Ajax, at the left back position, he just isn't sufficient enough for me. He's not strong enough, and this is something that is needed also at that back position. So I would rather see him play in the midfield, and maybe in a team that doesn't have that kind of player, he can maybe be sort of a box-to-box midfielder, more not the most defensive one, but definitely also not the most attacking one of the midfield, but help that build-up play and be of value there. Because for the left-back position, he's just not defensively strong enough for me.
But also for the box-to-box, you need to be strong.
Yeah, I know, but you have to see
put him
what
somewhere.
Yeah, it's either that role or as a left-back. So for me, I rather see him in a role that he played at Twente, for example. I think he played quite well in that role. The problem with him is, he deserved minutes, to get back to your question. But the Ajax squad that we had at the beginning of the season, there was no cohesion at all. It was just a new team, a lot of new players, and it's very difficult to shine in a team that doesn't have established players and cohesion between them, because it had to grow because of so many departures and so many new signings coming in. It's easier to be of a value and start playing in a team that already is clicking. And that is the bad thing with also the pressure that Stein had. He wanted to perform, different players every time. It's difficult. But he definitely has some qualities, but not for this Ajax at the moment. So I would give him also, maybe for Italy, the best option to go there, because I think the Scottish league is very, very strong physicality-wise. So that doesn't suit him at all.
Yeah, and next to that, of course, if you look at all the Dutch players that went to Italy, they're all doing quite well.
Yeah.
So maybe that would suit him as well. But I'm a little bit flabbergasted that none of the, or at least for my information, that none of the teams in Eredivisie is jumping
Someone
for
just
him.
made a comment about that.
Okay, we'll just have a look at it in the meantime. But Thomas, what's your view with Salahdin?
Well, when it comes to his better position, I believe his best position is simply outside Ajax, and that's my comment here, because we've seen him as a left back. Did it work out? And I know we were under Stein, so it's not fair to judge anyone back then. Yeah, but still, he was shaky at best. And when it comes to midfield, Yeah, he was impressive at Twente, but I really feel like we have enough talent in the midfield that we have some players I'd rather we invest in playing time wise and so on. And I have nothing against Saladin, but I just don't see it, and I would rather see him go, and doesn't really matter wherever he himself sees himself, and that's about that. I don't have like much to say here.
One little thing to add, I do not see him in a blind role at all, because I think as a central defender, he's even more of a liability than he is defending wise as a back, because I think he just hasn't the composure, the body to be the defensive part of that role. He just cannot do that. He doesn't have the
Blind
height.
does zero
the
defending
body.
at Girona. He doesn't
Sorry?
even. Blind does zero defending at Girona.
Yeah, but even Saladin compared to Blind, he is very weak physique-wise compared to Blind even.
But you can
Blind
only
is
do this
strong,
with a 5-back, right? Just to hear
Sorry?
me out. You can only do this with a 5-back.
I understand the role. I understand the role, because you have the backs that sometimes move high upfield, and then you have 3 central defenders. Sometimes they fall back a little bit more, then he can push a little bit more up the field, to be in that role. So I understand what you're saying, but to play in that role, I think he lacks too much quality to be the defender when necessary.
But Ajax is never going to play that way. So
no. I understand. I understand what you're saying, but just the defensive part, I do not see him doing that as a central.
So
Interesting.
his best position is outside Ajax, right?
I don't know. I don't know.
Interesting to know that he extended his contract last year, right?
Yeah.
Not a long term. So they might see something in him, but you just have to wait and see. But I do see some comments related to Saladin, related to Twente.
Yeah, that's one. Yeah.
Bieren, I got a feeling Twente will knock on our door for Saladin when Gijs Small leaves to Rangers. I don't know whether Rangers is interested in Gijs Small, but indeed Saladin would be definitely a player they will look at, or maybe Ron Jans at Utrecht, because he was really Ron Jans was really fond of Saladin, so he might want to use him as well at Utrecht.
Yeah, but I can tell you this, Sarbi, when they come knocking to our door, Twente, you can agree with me that we won't let him go for a small sum of money, so that's not happening.
No, of course not. But you never know. You never. If you really
you missed the punchline, bro. Thank you for that.
No. Sorry, bro. No, okay.
He still doesn't get it.
No, small sum of money.
Yeah. I do.
No, to be fair, that's a left back position. BRN is talking about. So.
Yeah, no, indeed. No, okay, let's move it to Miso.
I know him too well, so
I knew it as well, but I thought, okay, but thank you for the clarification, Johan. Let's now discuss quickly the Mazraoui or Mazraoui, I don't know how to pronounce, but the soap that is currently ongoing with this player. To give a little bit of a background, Mazraoui, his contract expires in summer, so he can already be discussed with other clubs, and he's a free agent in the summer. Apparently, Ajax gave him the deadline until yesterday to come back on the proposal for the contract extension. They didn't come back with the reply, and they changed agent, or Mazraoui changed agent to Piri something like that, well-known agent. But apparently, Ajax is fed up with his current situation, as they didn't hear anything from him, so they expelled him from training with the first squad. He's not training anymore. And not only that, there were rumors about Mazraoui wanted guaranteed minutes if he wants to extend, and several other things, which of course are non-negotiable, because Ajax will never give guaranteed minutes to players, let alone young players. So it's very, very unlikely he will extend his contract. But it's crazy, right? I mean, it's not like, first of all, who can we blame if we're looking at the situation that we currently know, that we read? Who can we blame? Can we blame the agent? Can we blame Ajax? Can we blame the player? Yelan, just go ahead.
I think we've got a Ricardo Kishna 3.0 incoming. Like, this is not the first time it happened, and you see all those players. I'm not saying he has the same quality or is better or worse than Kishna, but like they get their heads spinned by their agents. Like, you can make this amount of money, and you can go there, and you have good playing time, and it always ends up working out in not in favor of the player. So where are the days that like the Snyders and the Van der Vaarts, who will be staying until 25, 26 even, and working their way up to being a first team regular and getting their minutes? And now they're all getting their heads screwed off by agents at the age of 18 and 19, even 17. So the only thing I've got to say about this is that, like, if he wants to go and he wants to, well, not ruin his career, but put his career in jeopardy, he should go.
Yeah, but the crazy thing is, he actually saying he wants to play for Ajax. He wants to play for Ajax, but on the other hand,
that's what they all say. But they want to do it on their terms. They want to dictate the terms.
Remember that story with Robbie?
I get that Robbie vibe.
He wanted to play for Ajax also, and everything would be fine, and blah blah. And then he just signed on a contract at Red Bull. So
there was agents. They're getting dollar signs in their eyes.
Yeah, okay, but
honestly,
no, but they see dollar signs. But at the end, it's the player who chooses the agent, and he recently changed agent. The reason why you do that is because you want to.
They are very young and impressionable, so they don't always make the right decisions.
Yeah, you can't expect an 18-year-old to make like very adult decisions, right? I mean, we have to have a little bit of empathy. They're youngsters, and
but you got your parents, right? I mean, you got your parents.
Yes, but still, we shouldn't be so hard in such cases. I'm not saying that we should be happy with the whole thing. Quite the opposite, but just not be so harsh. I would say. But all in all, I would say that everyone's to blame, because I can understand him. He didn't get to play as much as we all, I guess, would have liked to. Because he should have gotten more minutes in the first team. I'm not saying get the first squad and so on, but 5-10 minutes here and there, way more often, I guess, were reasonable, and he didn't get that for whatever reason. Was it justified or not? We don't know, but regardless of whether it was justified, his impression is important here, right? And he's surely fed up. He wanted to. I assume he wanted to play more and so on, and this is the reason why are we here. So the prior handling of the situation brought us here, but here and now, I believe that Ajax being pretty strict, that's the way to. If we're here, this is the way to go. This is the way to handle the situation. No players, no players bigger than the club. That's that's the exact case here, right? I mean, we can. I guess we can survive without him, and also it's not going to kill him if he leaves. So if he wants to leave, so be it.
Okay, then I got a question for Ajax on this. Can we blame Ajax for not handling this way earlier?
I will try to be explaining this in 2 minutes, man, because I had two sides of the story.
And counting.
Yes, let's go. We've talked about this so many times, Sahbi, last years. There's fundamentally something wrong within the club with handling youth contracts and players. Because also with Hato at the moment, he still didn't sign, I believe, that new contract, right? They are waiting till he's 18, and they have both the impression that they will sign it. But there's something wrong with how we handle those contracts. Either give them a contract for 2 years, so that's what you can do, right, before they turn 18, so that you can have a situation that you can sign a pre-contract when they're ready. But not every time the same situation that you're in the situation that they can leave the club for free. And also, when you give them minutes in the first squad, make sure that you handle the situation well for the years after, because you give them a podium to perform, but they're also easily poached by other clubs if you do not handle their contract situation well. And this is something that worries me with Ajax. It's been like that for many times in the last decade. For example, with Brobbey, also what happened with him.
Univar.
Handle your situation. I believe also Hansa a while back, right? He also moved away. And there are a lot of situations also currently. How's a guy called that will go to Spain? The recently that youth player that left. I do not know the name.
Udung, so to
Yeah,
Sevilla.
something. It's a difficult
Yeah,
name. But those things are happening because we're not on top of it, and this is something that you can blame Ajax for. The other thing is, I agree with Ajax. If you set a deadline, there should be a penalty. He misses the deadline. He thinks that he should already earn more money, because I saw that in the media also. He wasn't happy with the amount of money offered or the contract offered. What did you do yet for the club? You can say the argument, okay, I didn't play enough. Okay, but then it's also up to you, because you probably didn't show enough that we could not get around you anymore. Either in the youth teams, either in young Ajax, whatever. And I know that you have to deserve the chance, but I do not like those players that already state, it's not good enough for the current statute I have. I should earn more money already. What did you prove yet? Nothing. So it's good that the club just being firm about it. Hopefully they resolve it, but up until then, you're out of the team.
No, but then let me play a little bit the devil's advocate with regards to Ajax, because they gave a deadline. I fully agree with you on that. Should be penalty, but why waiting until January, at the end of January? Why not giving the deadline somewhere in October, November, so we are aware of the situation and can get a replacement in January, for example, and not wait for January with the hope that he extends.
That's exactly what I'm saying with how we handle those contracts. There should be a system in place that we just follow with youth players. And the same thing with Hado. I'm so afraid that somebody just comes in and poaches him at the end of the season, or that they wait too long with signing a contract, and we have the same situation over and over again.
I understand, but he will sign.
And this is something that you have to blame Ajax for. And it's difficult, man. It's just a difficult situation, and I understand fully that they give him a penalty now for removing, because they gave him a deadline, and he didn't even reply. I believe what I saw in the media, right? He didn't even reply in time. So it's not even like I'm not satisfied with it. He just didn't reply, according to the media.
No, but indeed, fully agree with that part, because if you don't give that penalty, players won't take you that serious.
Yeah, why set the deadline then if there's no repercussion about it?
Serious. Indeed. So okay, let's see what the viewers think of this soap. If Mazraoui don't want to extend his contract, then leave. Take it or leave it. Then we should try to get Babadi at least. We'll get back to that Babadi part, because that's quite interesting. Coming from getting a player from one of our competitors. Let me see. Okay, so more about Babadi. As Sivan said, he mentioned he really want to play for Ajax. We'll see. Yeah, as everybody's saying that. So that's not really new. Look at Brobbey situation, and to get back to Christian is going to be the new Wasim Boy, who went to Juventus.
Is that the Juventus star?
He played, and Anthony.
Well, he's actually playing pretty well now. So.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, but it took him quite a while, right?
Definitely.
It's maybe more of a Kluivert situation, like being a European nomad, playing everywhere and hopefully being a star once. So
Juma Groeneveld.
Yeah, and then Jim goes fishing. The issue is a lack of a good technical director. The current guy is also just an interim, as far as I know. The lack of quality in terms of scouting, can this player make it in Ajax1, is lacking. Do you agree with that, Yelan, or do you think no? This is not to blame. To the technical director is not to blame at this point.
Well, the last guy is to blame. Let's be firm about that, but he's in the Bahamas somewhere with a couple of million of the Sosa transfer. But
Maybe he's visiting Ibiza together with Stein.
Yeah.
maybe Jim can go fishing with him, but I don't know. No, in all fairness, this is like putting duct tape on a sinking ship. So we just first need to, just came up with that.
That's nice, man.
Another water reference, right?
Yeah.
That's how I fix things in my house also, if I don't know, just use duct tape.
Duct tape is always good. The extra strong duct tape will always work. Now, like we talked about a little bit before stream, this is just a lost season basically. So we need to do damage control. So I don't have any opinion on the technical director at this point. I think he's just overwhelmed by all the, I can't say this on the stream, but by all the crap that is left behind by our German friend. Nothing against Germans, but against Mislintat.
Obviously.
Obviously. So I think it's just overwhelmed. Don't think we can blame him. And if he stays on for next season, we can probably judge him then.
And let's be honest, we have this season quite some players from the youth academy making their debut or getting minutes. So he leans on playing a lot. Of course, Hatos being a great player for us this season. Gooier getting minutes. I've seen Benel get minutes. Vos before he was injured. Gods getting minutes in the team. So Marta, exactly, not maybe as the greatest player on that left back position, but he's getting minutes. So a lot of players are getting minutes within the team. So all those players that already have those star, think they are a star, already at that age, they should deliver first. You should ask yourself a question as a professional, even at that age. How is it possible that all other players are getting minutes and I'm not getting those minutes? So be a little bit self-critical and also look at yourself and not demand the sky already at the age of 18, It's just stupid.
Yeah. Vos is a great example of that because like the competition on his position is big, and he was getting minutes like in favor of the big signings. So I agree with Ajax. If you're good enough, you're going to get minutes.
Exactly.
Yeah, eventually, indeed. It's all about patience. Let's continue our last part about Bawadi, because why are
every time I hear that name, I'm thinking about Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo of Cinderella. I watched it as a kid,
There's also a clothing brand that's literally his name.
Okay,
cool. Bidi Badu or something. It's a tennis brand.
So
I always
getting
think of
El Hamdawi vibes with his clothing shop in Rotterdam. So
and not running near post on every cross.
Wasn't the Martin Jol era, right?
Yes. Running to the corner flag. Okay.
How was it guy called Jol? What was it? His stop signing Ursais or something with Jol?
Bro.
Atuba? Was it Atuba also? Atuba?
No, that was later.
No, it was Jol, right?
Really?
No, it was Jol, I believe.
Took him from
it was Jol. Yeah, but
that was 6 million back then.
I believe. The guy was 50, man, Atuba.
Guys, no Atuba, no Jol. Bobby.
Samuel Kufur.
Shoot your last question, Juan. Go.
No, not yet. No last question yet. No, I mean, let's talk about this player, because apparently he was first seen as a replacement for eventually if Mazraoui leaves. But today's news stated that Bawadi could be considered as an additional player that can be brought in and not per se as a replacement. But the only obstacle is the signing fee. Apparently, it's quite high. He's a free agent. What's with these youngsters, man? Money, all the way without proving themselves in any way possible.
0 goals in Eredivisie.
No, exactly, and then they want a huge amount. I'm not talking about the player's abilities, technical ability, the player himself. Maybe that's something that I really want to know more about. Who of you have seen Bawadi play?
8 matches, 0 goals, 0 assists.
I don't know, man. Know nothing about him.
Okay, a lot of news headlines, right? So that cancels it out, the zeros.
Is this really
I
newsworthy?
try to never watch PSV football, so I don't know. I don't know anything about him.
Yeah,
And you,
but
Thomas?
one thing we can say for sure, he's proven more than Mazraoui because he's actually playing in a team that's getting results. Whatever we say about them, he's getting some minutes, right? Yeah,
Yes,
I guess
he's-
he's
But
technically.
they both have 0 assists and 0 goals, though.
Yeah. So
Yes.
he would be a perfect replacement, right?
He has Berghuis numbers in the Keukenkampioen divisie, so let's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
For
not
me-
saying I'm not saying that
2 assists, 1 goal.
that we should be like very very positive about this. But you said about the what is with the young players. I believe it's pretty easy. The market, the demand is there. There are clubs that are willing to pay such money, so there's no reason for them not to ask for such money because they are going to eventually get it.
The foreign
reason here.
clubs, it's small money to offer them as a signing bonus, and for us, it's maybe a lot to offer youth
Yeah.
players. So they start comparing the money that they can get abroad. Maybe they rather stay in Holland, but they get not offered the same amount of money. So then sensibility comes into place. Am I going for money, or I'm going for my development? And often it's the best choice to stay in Holland and develop yourself a little bit further, then make that jump, bank a little bit, but just no minutes anymore. That's not the sensible decision, in my opinion. So
yeah, but but regardless if it's sensible or not, that's the reason, right? Because they are offered the money,
Definitely.
and sometimes it's difficult to resist it, especially provided that many of young players come from not that resourceful families. So it can be tempting. I assume.
and also you have to take in consideration that they can get injured. And then their career can be over. So maybe all the money and time that they invested in it, and maybe what you're saying with some of the players' backgrounds also, they try to bank on the money so that they have something worthwhile for whatever is coming next. It can be a long career or it can be over in an instant.
That's the risk that you
So
take.
in a sense, we can understand. But when it comes to Babadi. Yeah, I agree with Ajax on the name. It really makes me think about certain stuff.
It's catchy.
But
Babadi, Babada.
Yeah. But regardless,
Goes on.
but regardless, well, from what I've heard from all of you guys, I would assume none of us is really prepared to judge him properly, to say if he's going to fit us or not. We only know his bare stats, and that's it. If we have a proper scouting team, which I doubt we have, to be honest, then they could evaluate him, and based on that, we could talk. And also, do we actually really need a Mazraoui replacement? Is he crucial for us right now, or whatever? Or did I miss something?
For the future, Thomas. For the future.
Sorry?
For the future, Thomas.
Yeah, I know that's a trademark and so on, but I don't see like a huge gap in that position for us, at least for now. So. Yeah, if we feel like he's the next big thing, go for it. If he's going to be, I don't know, an Afelai, okay, he had his moments, he had his goals. We could go for this, also just to make the other team pissed off a little bit. So okay, that's a motivation as well. But other than that, yeah, I don't know, to be honest. I don't know.
No, the fact that that PSV wants to extend with him. And he doesn't, and he's willing to go to Ajax is for me already a win. The fact that we can piss them off is for me that win already. So like a how you say it, and forgot the wording, but in either way, it's been considered like a win for Ajax because they.
Yeah, but I'd rather have wins on the pitch and in the competition than having to resort to this sort of stuff, And I don't care about the sentiment at all. If it's just a good signing, wherever he comes from, get him in, and rather be improving on the pitch and as a team, then for me it's not at all what you're saying.
No,
Like,
the
oh,
fact-
it's maybe
it's-
something
it's-
nice to watch PSV. No, man.
It's an additional part,
Get
of
your
course.
shit together and get to the top position again. You know, that's my main
Of
concern.
course, of course.
He
but-
might be good, but like the way he handles himself in these contract negotiations and what he's saying about Forbs, that you're paying 14 million, whether he's correct or not, or whether he's better or not, doesn't matter. The way he handles himself, I think he's asking for trouble.
Yeah.
Especially on a club at Ajax where the competition is high, I think it's asking for trouble. I don't know him. I don't know his character. I don't know if he's actually good or not, but the way he handles himself and the things he's saying I think is asking for trouble.
Yeah, but on the other hand, the very top players need a bit of arrogance. So, yeah. But
Ajax is a difficult club.
It's
With
a
that-
very
of course,
difficult club.
we're the biggest club in the Netherlands, so obviously he wants to join and so on. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Okay, let's go to let's pay some tribute to Juan and come with the final question.
Wow. Is
Uh,
it the final?
Well, it's a final comment
Okay.
with two questions, which
Ah.
makes it like a full final question.
Cool.
From Clive Attard. What do you think of the potential transfer of Julian Rijkhoff? Will he get playing time, considering we already have Broby? And don't forget, of course, Akpom, who occasionally substitutes, replaces him during a game. Ajax, give your thought, man.
I will take the latter part. Will he get playing time, considering that we already have
You
Broby?
take the easy part.
I do not think he will get that many playing time because he will be third in the picking order, I believe. But about his potential, I think he played in the Borussia Dortmund second team, right? The second squad, and I think he had quite some good stats there, if I recall correctly.
Very good stats.
So that says something about your potential because you're proving it on that level. And he knows the club, you know. He knows how we play. So maybe it's an easy transition to get into the team then.
This was the under-19s where he had the good stats. not
Okay,
in the
cool.
second.
But this season, right, where he's playing
Last
at the
season.
moment, this season he had also good
This
stats, right?
season he hasn't been on the board yet. This was last season in the
No,
under-19.
but in another competition, right? Or am I wrong?
He did it well.
I thought he had 9 goals or something.
According to FOTMOB, which is usually correct, it's not. He did really well in the youth division, though.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong. I thought I read that somewhere.
But he was
Well-
still a youngster last year, so maybe I'm wrong, but usually
has
they're right about
potential.
these things.
He has potential. That's something that's quite.
That's all I can say about it, man. So won't
but
waste
we-
any more time.
We often see players going on a free transfer and then coming back again, whereby Ajax needs to pay again. They offered like almost $1 million, which has been declined. So let's hope for some good news at least this transfer window. Anybody wants to add something, Thomas or Jelan, on this question?
Yeah, we for sure need a third striker. Yeah, because Akpom was sick last time, and we had nothing to bring on. If there was a need, so we need such a player. And Rijkhoff seems to be like a reasonable option for the number 3. If it's possible for a reasonable amount of money, go for it. That's all I have to say about this. Well,
And that will also be the last answer of the questions. Thank you,
Final
guys.
answer.
Boy, it has been a pleasure having you here on the live talk. Hopefully soon again. Thank you as well for the comments of all the viewers. Don't forget, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. And if you like what you see, just give the like. And let's.
And also, if you do not like what you see, also give the like, please.
Fair enough. You hear them, so do that as well, indeed. And let's hope for a good result on Saturday. Are we going to win?
I think so.
Yeah. How motivated are you? You think so?
Yeah, I think so.
No, man.
I think we're going to win.
I think we're going to win. It's going to be way more tough than it should be, but we're going to win.
Okay. I hope you're.
And also,
positive.
have a glass of water, people. It's good for you.
Great advice.
Also good for the AstroTurf.
Yes.
Indeed.
Bye.
Guys, see you all.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks, and have a nice
See you.
evening.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Cheers.